Now, do we have another call?
Yes, we do. We have Susie.
All women today.
I know, it's fantastic, isn't it?
Great. Well
So
done.
good.
Bravo.
Thank you very much.
Bravo. Super.
We have Susie from Baltimore in Maryland.
Oh, great. I love Balmer. That's how they say it, by the way, Balmer.
That's right. Hi,
Yeah. Susie knows. Hey, Susie, how are you? Oh, I know Susie.
Yes, you do.
It's so nice to see you again. We saw each other in Balmer.
Yes, we did.
Patrick Norton and I were at I think it was at the fair, wasn't it?
Yes,
And we were out there, and there was a guy with a Segway, and boy, that was fun.
that was fun.
Well, it's nice to see you again, Susie. How are things?
Things are just great.
Good.
And I was actually listening to a prior lab with Leo that you were using carbonite.
Yes.
And at the time, I was looking at Mozy, so it was great timing because then I went and checked out carbonite, and I found out that not only do they give you a 15-day free trial, but it's also cheaper than Mozy.
Is it? I thought they were roughly the same.
Carbonite was offering a 2-year deal for about $80, I think.
Both they're very similar. They both are online backup, and I'm a big fan of this idea, as you know, Susie, because if you back up to a drive that's sitting next to your computer, and let's say the horrible thing happens, your house burns down, or I live in earthquake country, there's an earthquake, you could lose your data and your backup. Yep. So I'm I'm in favor of off-site backup, and there's nothing better than an online backup because you're backing it up to these big servers where they're protected. They make their own backups. I mean, I would say that's as safe as you can get.
Now, what about financial information? Do you actually back that up?
Good question. I do. I back up everything, and here's why. And depending on, there's a lot of different companies doing this. You should absolutely read their privacy policy. But I do know that both Mozy and Carbonite encrypt the data. So it's actually encrypted when it's backing up. It's going encrypted to their servers. So it's actually safe from your computer to their servers, and then it's stored on their servers encrypted. So you're absolutely safe. Now, you ask a really good question because, I just read the other day the Tax Act, which was a tax service, and I had an account there. They sent me an email saying, excuse me, but we got hacked and they got some information of yours. And it's a very scary thought. Now, fortunately, they didn't get my tax information. They didn't get my Social Security numbers. But the point is, anytime your personal information is stored on somebody else's servers, there's a risk. So I'm not saying there's no risk, but I am saying that this is a company that's very aware of it. They do encrypt it. They don't have access to the data. It's encrypted with your key. So so even if a hacker does steal your data, they're not going to get into it. I would say it's as safe as it can be. Carbonite.com and Mozy.com both have very good safety policies. In fact, if you go to the Mozy site, you read that they're HIPAA compliant. HIPAA is the very, very tough law that was passed in the States to protect people's medical information. So if something is HIPAA compliant, that means a medical facility can store medical records on there and still be compliant with the federal law in the states. That's pretty high assurance that that is going to be a safe place to store stuff. And that's because they encrypt it. So I think both Mozy or Carbonite. Mozy works on Macs as well as Windows. Carbonite's got a Mac version on its way. They're both, I think, a really great way to go to back up your data. It just gives you that peace of mind. The disadvantage is you're doing it online, so it's a lot slower. But both of these things kind of run in the background all the time, and they're constantly making copies. All right, Sean is here with a shiny. It's time for his gadget demo. This one's